Okay, hello, my friends. My name is Gerdes. I'm just a professor trying to provide you with some context in the war in Ukraine. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. Here are four big stories for today. So, the first, well, this is interesting, and it's been going on for the last couple of days. Despite Russian President Vladimir Putin's stated intention to increase the size of the army to 1.5 million troops, and this came out a day or two ago, and then there was some backlash like, hey, he's going to have to mobilize. But wait a minute, he can't mobilize. Okay, this plan is likely to be hampered by Russia's heavy losses in the war against Ukraine, according to British intelligence. I'm not sure that they can really pull that off very easily. Like, it sounds easier than it is to just move from 1.3 million and change to 1.5 million. Okay, so let's just look at the math. There are 639,480 Russians killed or seriously wounded and off the battlefield, right? And it's about 1,000 plus a day, and it's been that way for many, many months. Okay, so 639, get that in your head. Now, today is Friday, September 20th. Let's go back and look at September 19th of 2023. That's 1 year ago, one calendar year back, okay? And at that time, there were only 273,460 Russian casualties killed or wounded. Okay, so 639,480 minus 273,460 leaves us with 366,20. Okay, so that's replacement cost for the last 1 year from today to 1 year ago. Now, you're going to add to that, here's the British intelligence update. On September 16th, Russian President Putin signed a decree to increase the size of the Russian military with an additional 180,000 personnel to 1.5 million in total. Okay, so now we have to do some more math. 366,20 plus 180,000. And now you're trying to replace, just for the last year and to add on, more than 500,000 new personnel. So that's a taller order than it sounds like. Now, he could do it, but he doesn't want to have mobilization. He's afraid of mobilization. Here is Euromaidan Press. Putin's fears of societal backlash prevents new mobilization wave. Mobilization in Russia remains unlikely in the near to medium term due to Putin's personal fear that mobilization is a direct threat to his regime's stability. In spite of spending $2 billion on a phony election, he really does fear this kind of backlash. He's deeply paranoid about becoming the next Gaddafi. Okay. Meanwhile, this is happening. Russia, to address the acute shortage of workers, Russian railways began hiring African migrants en masse to service strategic railroad facilities. Duties include driving locomotives. They're hired as contract workers through intermediaries to overcome the illegality. So, okay. But be very careful, gentlemen, because this kind of thing is happening. Now this is unrelated. This story is unrelated to the other, but it could be in the wrong circumstances. Okay, 14 Ghanaians were tricked into traveling to Russia and forced to sign contracts with the Russian Defense Ministry. Now they're being held in Donetsk and threatened to be sent into combat. 11 of them have already disappeared without a trace. 14 men from Ghana left their country for Russia on August 4th, 2024, to, as they thought, earn money in agriculture or security work. Okay. That's what they thought that they were going to be doing. The publications reported, citing the men themselves. Now, they were lured with promises of securing a well-paid job in Russia, but the hopes of building a better future were immediately dashed after they confronted with reality on the ground upon their arrival in Russia August 6. What happened? Immediately after arriving in the Russian Federation, the men were taken to Kostroma and given to sign labor contracts. However, to their utter shock, it turned out to be an agreement on the recruitment into Russian army to fight against Ukraine. After that, the men were transported to Donetsk. Since the Ghanaians did not know Russian, they did not realize that they were signing military contracts. The men also had their passports confiscated. So I'm a little afraid for people like this that are coming to work on the railroad. Now they are alleviating, this is smart on Russia's part, they are alleviating some of the problems with not having the men and the resources to fix the railroads, and it's a real problem, so they're hiring out. But for the workers themselves, Yeah. Of the 14 Ghanaians who left Ghana for the Russian Federation just over a month ago, the fate of only 3 is now known. The rest are missing. Quote, "We have no fighting experience. We are pleading. We want to return home. Please help us. We are sleeping on plywood and it is so uncomfortable," they said. Okay, well, this is what they do. Okay, Moscow-based disinformation hub, the Agency for Social Design, has been exposed. Leaked records from Russian disinformation campaign, including the agency's presentation video, reveals how Moscow sought to discredit Ukraine and Western governments supporting it. So let's take a look at this and just
is a
watch
leaked
this
playbook
video.
of the Russian propaganda organization called the Agency of Social Design.
The battlefield is the minds of people, and we will win this battle.
The agency's goal is to carry out misinformation campaigns against Ukraine and its allies to divide Western society and reach the Kremlin objectives. The pro-Kremlin agency produced nearly 40,000 fake pieces of content in the first 4 months of this year. These
40,000 in the first 4 months, 10,000 pieces of fake content per month by this one agency. Yeah, the battlefield is for the mind. That's why we're all here right now.
include social media posts, long reads, videos, memes, and fake official documents.
Such as fake reports and press releases from the German Ministry of the Interior or the Polish Customs Service.
It gathers data from news outlets, public figures, and think tanks to assess the vulnerability of societies in the US, Germany, France, and Israel.
We create content based on the journalistic style adopted in each respective country.
The agency designs each fake piece of content to look like it comes from respected local media making.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So they'll create something that looks like it came from a legitimate source, and if you would think it was if you weren't really careful. And so, yeah.
To tell, it's just a Russian fake.
All right, so that's what's going on with fake media. Meanwhile, now it's also interesting that they were attacking the U.S., Britain, Germany, and Israel. Why are they so hot and bothered about Israel? I mean, because the Russians really have been weighing in against Israel. Speaking of Israel, paranoia envelops Lebanon as the explosive potential of repeated battery attacks has residents in fear of bombs in their pockets. Like, if you're walking around and you're Hezbollah and you have a cell phone and you're like, after the pagers and the walkie-talkies, you might be thinking, well, they just didn't detonate my cell phone yet? No? Okay. All right, so here we have Lebanon faces this new threat, this paranoia. On Wednesday evening, during the day on Thursday, wild and unconfirmed rumors began to spread on social media that laptops, cell phones, solar panels, fridges, and batteries had also begun to explode, leading to yet more casualties. Now, that's not confirmed, but that is what social media does. It creates a lot of panic and gins up drama that may or may not be true. By the way, a number of you talked to me in the comments yesterday about batteries. The post you showed is wrong. The explosion was not caused by overheated batteries, a small amount of powerful explosive. Yet there was some kind of explosive. One article said that it caused the batteries to do something. Another article said that I'm not an expert on batteries. I don't claim to be, and so you could very well be right. But there are a number of people that corrected me, but none of them actually, like, their stories didn't all match up. But if you're an expert on batteries, listen to the experts on batteries in the comments. Okay. Israel spent 15 years preparing an operation to undermine Hezbollah's pagers. ABC quoted the CIA sources saying. So it looks like that actually did happen. This was a long-term play to do this, to the pagers. For this purpose, Tel Aviv created several front companies. And I said yesterday, I see these conflicting stories, but it looks like the front company story is correct. Tel Aviv created several front companies associated with Israeli intelligence. Most of the employees of these companies were allegedly unaware who they actually worked for. So that was a pretty deep cover. All right. Israel says it killed a top Hezbollah official in a targeted Beirut strike after they vowed for revenge for the device blast. And this was like the number 2 guy or really high up the food chain. The IDF claimed on Friday it killed Ibrahim Aqil in the attack, who the Israeli military describes as the head of the Hezbollah terrorist organization operations. So, yeah, the hits just keep coming there. Okay, so all this, want to make sure that you're aware this is not reality. Okay, Israel targeted Hezbollah with exploding goats. This is a AI fake. I shouldn't have to say that, but okay. And you can here's the source of the AI fakes. Okay, but this is legitimate. We see St. Javelin here in the toast. And St. Javelin's having a contest. Tell me what you see. The best caption wins a St. Javelin gift bag. Once upon a time, I was dealing with the St. Javelin people about doing if St. Javelin, if you're still listening, I'm happy to do it. I'll, put your hat on or your shirt or whatever and talk up St. Javelin and for the donations to go to charitable donations in Ukraine to some humanitarian kind of something. And still happy to do that and may do that once upon a time. NAFO got into the act. NAFO is everywhere. And then we also had, I don't know who decided that was a good idea. And then we had, I think that's Fabio with a I can't believe it's not butter on it. Yeah, okay. Anyway, let Ukraine strike back, let Ukraine strike back, let Ukraine strike back, let Ukraine strike back. I can't say it enough. They need to be able to do this. And I'll leave you with one more thing, and that's this. We have seen some fascinating things over time on this channel. One of those was the Chechen special forces trying to break boards on each other or something. Another one was the Belarusian special forces. Well, here is the Taliban special forces on tires, and yeah, I'm not even sure what to make of this. Here we go. Not sure when that is going to be a useful skill to be walking on a tire like that, but you never know. I mean, maybe I'm judging too harshly. Okay, my friends, thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the subscribes. Every time you hit that like button, it helps me spread this. Every time you share it, it helps it even more. And thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you more than anything for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.